Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. It's Season 1, Episode 4, and today we have a big doubleheader across two competitions. Firstly, playing National League Boreham Wood in the FA Cup, before a relegation six-pointer, as it's turned out to be, against Wealdstone in the Vanarama National League South. But since you were last with me, things still haven't been going great, but we've just started to turn a corner a little bit and get ourselves out of the relegation zone before things went completely wrong off the pitch yet again. The key man, as you can see, is still Aaron Jarvis with 8 goals, but let's go and take you through all the negatives first. One little piece of news is we've had one more loan signing come in, another one from parent club Watford. Daniel Phillips, a 17-year-old midfielder, and as you can see, he's not very good, so the fact that he's first choice tells us where our problem lies, for a club that, don't forget, our chairman expected us to get into the playoffs this season, which is a little bit of wishful thinking with the players at our disposal. In terms of results, things aren't terrible at the moment, so obviously you were with me for that doubleheader against Torquay and Billericay, where we lost and we were expected to lose, to be fair, but then we lost at Weston-super-Mare as well, 2-1. We got back to 1-0 in this game on a stroke of half time, but with just a minute of normal time remaining at the end of the game, we managed to throw it away. Another defeat, but since then we've been in relatively good form, to be honest. We played in the FA Cup second qualifying round against Farnborough. We won 3-0 and there was an absolutely brilliant goal in there. So good that I'm going to show it to you in a minute. We then played Oxford City at home in the league and won 2-0. Another relegation six-pointer. Guess who? Aaron Jarvis with the brace to win us the game. As with the other two games we've won this season, Aaron Jarvis is the man to score the goals. We then beat Guernsey 5-1 in the FA Cup. A very comfortable game. Plenty of scorers in this one, and Sanchez Watt was the key man on the pitch, before a 0-0 draw at High Flyers Truro City. And as a result, we should have been going into this one with fairly high confidence. But unfortunately we're not. And that's because these professional players that we've got here, these experienced pros, the absolute dreams to have at your club to help tutor the young players, have decided to throw absolute wobblies and get the players on side. So Darren Ward is the worst for it. Firstly, he sent a message to leave for first team football. Now, the reason he hasn't been playing many games isn't because I don't want him to, because he's been fairly good for us. The reason he's not playing is because he's got this long-term injury here, and every time he tries to play, he needs a week off. He can't train at all. As you can see, his physicals have been affected, and whenever he's had a fitness of more than 90% for a league game, he's started. So that's a bit strange. And then the day after that, he decided to come along and say he thinks the club's underachieving, which 13 players agree with him. And the reason they're underachieving is because players like him aren't playing very well. And then the day after that, Lloyd Doyley came to us and said he was disappointed with the way we were managing the team. Luckily, I managed to talk them round by saying I was playing the young players to try and get the future of the club in the right order, rather than just focusing on the here and now. It didn't make players like Doyley or Ward any happier, but it got about 10 or 12 of the young players at the team on side, so hopefully that is the one thing that might save us at this club. Otherwise, we're in for a very quick sacking, and the fact we're still here surprises me, to be honest. But all of this off-the-pitch nonsense means that despite a good run of form going into this game, we haven't got any confidence or morale in the club. And just to make things worse, we can't do anything about it, and our director of football can't help, because we're in talks regarding a possible takeover, and we've now had a transfer embargo for 3 weeks. We had 2 high earners on the way out thanks to our director of football, and unfortunately they got cancelled as a result. So all in all, we're in a pretty bad position. But just to finish on a positive, let's go and look at that goal against Farnborough. It was an absolutely brilliant goal from Clifford, a great team goal ending in a phenomenal strike. At the time, we had absolutely no confidence in us at all, but we came to fruition with an absolutely brilliant strike. Martin with a brilliant run down the right to the target man Jarvis, laid it back to the captain Parks who put it to Clifford, and what a strike into the top corner that was. Absolute postage stamp stuff, but what a wonderful goal for a team that before that had lost about 4 or 5 games in a row and barely scored a goal. Brilliant stuff, and Billy Clifford's only good performance to date. He also then picked up a hamstring strain and's out for 6 weeks. So even our positive sentiments have a negative ending. But let's get into this game today. We're playing against a National League side in Boreham Wood. We've got the TV game, so hopefully the money will help out. In the 4th qualifying round, we should be on the BBC red button. Unfortunately, we're not quite at full strength. It was international weekend last week, so unfortunately we lost our entire right wing as normal, and they've come back in absolutely horrendous condition, so neither of them can play or even take part in the squad today. As a result, we've got a few unhappy players on the bench, but our lineup's almost as strong as it can be aside from that, and given the circumstances. So we've got Lucas in goal, Pritchett and Doyley are the fullbacks, with Masonda and Ward, who's getting another game in the middle. Watt and Walsh are on the wings with Prestige and Parks in the middle, and Corley, who's in for Clifford, covering with Aaron Jarvis up front. Phillips had been first choice in centre midfield, but he's on the bench today, and Yakubu drops down again so Ward can come back in. Let's get into the game, and let's get this one over and done with, because I'd imagine it's not going to be pretty at all. Right, a 3-5-2 for Boreham Wood, as formation we really struggle with. They've got Ilasami at left wing back, a player we had last year at Dover. Let's go and tell them to do it for the fans, as our assistant manager recommends, and see if we can hold on. We've got a tunnel interview because we're on TV. Apparently Boreham Wood are in poor form as well, but how we're 4 unbeaten and in poor form, I'm not quite sure. There seems to be a bit of a media witch hunt here. But we're into the game and we've got the kick-off. Can we create a nice early chance to increase our confidence and give us a bit of optimism? Walsh with a great run down the white, whips it in towards Jarvis, but the keeper comes and commands his box brilliantly. That would have been a good start, but unfortunately it's not to be. 6.5 minutes in and it's a throw into Boreham Wood on the right. Balanta plays the 1-2 with a throw-in taker. Long clearance into the box and now they've brought it down. Good save by Lucas. Falls to Ugwu. Can they get a goal from it on the left-hand side? Ilasami, who we mentioned before the match. Another hero from our Dover story last year. Although not quite as much as Jake Hyde. Crosses it for Balanta and it's straight at Lucas. We're getting warnings to close people down and stop crosses. But unfortunately it's not going to do much. They've got the ball on the right-hand side of the box again. It's Ricky Shakes. They're absolutely dominating that area. They've got the free header in the box, but Lucas makes the save. Another corner for them on the right. Balanta with a cross this time. Walsh's clearance is blocked. Ilasami gets the assist, and Ugwu taps in from a yard. Every time I mention one of these former players in one of these saves, they turn up and absolutely haunt us. We had Jake Hyde in the Torquay one yesterday, causing us a bit of aggro, and now it's the other way, but we've equalised. Oh, it's disallowed. Oh, it's all going wrong. I was so excited about this one. It's the first time I didn't notice the flag in time. Doyley with a throw-in which is headed away, but since the goal at least we have responded. But all it takes is Ilasami's long clearance. Ward heads it away to Pritchett. Pritchett gets the ball up front to Walsh. Walsh flicks it on, but it's headed back to the keeper comfortably. I've got to say with Darren Ward, it's the first time ever in Football Manager that I've played a centre-half with one pace. So that's something that I'm a little bit concerned about. But we've gone through it this season already. We're just seeing out time here. We're basically going to get the sack at some point. They're not giving us the chance to develop the club we want to with a good young team. They want to keep these golden oldies and support them. So good luck to them if that's what they want to do. I'm sure they'll go down eventually. The shot's blocked, and it's gone behind for a Boreham Wood corner. Balanta's put the cross in which Walsh headed away and it's gone back out wide, but it's overhit and it's out for a goal kick. We've been absolutely pasted and at 1-0 down, there's absolutely no way we're getting back into this one. Goal kick long out to the right hand side. Pritchett wins the header to Watt. Can Watt take his man on? He gets down the left flank. We just need to get men into the box and nick a lucky goal. But Stevens can mop up comfortably and now Boreham Wood bring it away. We're having to regroup into our shape. This is the game I don't like to play. But because we've got such defensive players and such poor quality defensive players, and not even just the quality, it's the pace as well. Having Doyley and Ward in there and Jordan Parks in the middle with no pace as well. We just have to drop straight away after losing the ball. We don't get to counter press. We don't get to apply pressure. We can't play the higher tempo that I'd like to play. And as a result, I don't really enjoy watching us play. That's the problem. But that's the beauty of this head coach series. You can't play the formation you want. You can't play the tactical style you want because you're depending on your director of football and the club to give you the players to work with. And if you haven't got the resources, you have to adapt. It's Ilasami on the left to Carr, finds Ricketts on the edge. He's hit the bar, Ugwu with the rebound. It's 2-0 and that's tie over. And now hopefully we'll just get a bit of a quiet tie to see it out. Hopefully Boreham Wood will drop off and just enjoy having their win and they can rest players for the next game. We've got a throw on the right with Lloyd Doyley. Throws it to the opposition. Absolutely atrocious and that's why he's not first choice. Balanta gets the ball up towards the front man, but Masonda clears it long. But he's just giving possession back to them. The confidence is going again. And that's because the media keeps telling them they're in poor form when they're unbeaten in 4. Jarvis has got the ball on the left. There's only one runner supporting. He finds him though. And Corley heads it straight at the keeper. Excellent play from Aaron Jarvis as usual. Another kick for Lucas up the field. It's headed away. It's not even reached Balanta. I mean, that's the number 10 it's barely reached there. Osho's going to clear the ball away to Ricketts. And this is the bit which is so frustrating not being able to put pressure on them. But I don't have 11 players with that sort of pace and stamina. The ball's into Ugwu. He's got his hat-trick. And it's 3-0. And this is going to be an absolute embarrassment, this game. We're going to drop from cautious to defensive because they're that good that they're just going to go through us. Lloyd Doyley's picked up a knock as well, so at least I've got an excuse to take him off. Absolutely diabolical performance from him. And I'd absolutely love to just be able to bring in 3 or 4 players, with our director of football getting in the youngsters as he has been, and just get rid of all these old boys. It's half time, it's been an awful performance, and at 3-0 down we just want to see out the game. We'll tell them we're disappointed, bring Howe on for Doyley, and let's get into the second half and get it over with. As I said, I'd love to get rid of all these players, the Wards, the Doyleys, not so much Jordan Parks, but maybe Prestige as well. They've just got such an ego in the dressing room. That sub-keeper, Laurie Walker, they just keep causing chaos. And if we could just get a young team in, yes, we might not do well this season, but next season would be absolutely brilliant. But I'm not going to get the chance to do that once the fans take over. As Jarvis brings it over halfway, he finds the ball out to Walsh, and even then, Walsh has run away from him. Balanta's got the ball on halfway, and they'll bring it forward. They've got it out to the right-hand side, and again, they've got 2 men running to get into the box. They've gone back to Shakes, and the right-hand side's been dominant for them this season. In this game, the first half. Carl's got the ball out to Shakes again on the right-hand side. Shakes with a delivery into the box, finds Shabu, and he's going to shoot, but it's blocked, and Ward finally wins a clearance. 5 minutes gone in the second half, and we are getting absolutely outplayed. We're coming up to the hour mark. We've got the ball with Walsh to Prestige. Prestige has got no one unmarked in front of him. He finds Watt to Corley. His shot's blocked, but unfortunately he was offside to start with. Another warning to close a player down as they bring it forward again. Prestige clears it away long. Osho and Ricketts bring it forward again. Now there's so much time. That better not be Freddie Sears on the right flank. What a fall from grace that is if it is. Ball into Ugwu, who heads it again. Oh my word. I thought Lucas had caught it. I'd stopped commentating on it. And he just went straight through him. I've got to see that again. I'm sorry, I'm going to go back and have a little look. The ball comes out to the left-hand side eventually. And then the cross comes in from Ilasami. Ugwu heads it. Oh, you've got to be joking. He's palmed it in. We're going to make some subs with 15 minutes to go. Pritchett, our left-back's had a shocker. We've got absolutely no one we can bring on for him, so he has to stay on. Jordan Parks is going to get a rest in the middle. It's not the sort of game he can dominate anyway. We'll bring Phillips on and drop him a little bit deeper. Aaron Jarvis up front is motivated, so we'll keep him on. And Corley can come off in the attacking midfield role. We'll bring on Alex Osborne and we'll drop Walsh into the number 10 role. And he can go back to being an advanced attacking midfielder. Let's get back into it and see out the tie. If we couldn't let in a 5th, that would be nice. But with Lucas in goal, who knows what's going to happen. How his rating's still 6.5, I'll never know. Throwing on the left, Ilasami to take it. Phillips wins it back to substitute. Walsh finds Osborne the other sub. Jarvis flicks it on. But there's absolutely no one up there with him. You've got to feel sorry for the lad. But we haven't got a second striker who's capable of starting. Ugwu's in behind again. And Lucas decides he actually wants to save one this time. As it's straight at him, but he doesn't palm it into the net. Corner, on the right from Shakes. Straight at Lucas, and that'll be highlight over. 4-0 with a few minutes to go, but it's another relentless attack from Boreham Wood. Ricketts has given it away. No, he's still got 10 yards to go and get there. Shakes finds Ilasami on the left. Charlesworth to Shakes again on the edge. Back to Charlesworth. They're just taking the mick out of us now, keeping the ball so easily. Back to the halfway line, and we can't exert any pressure as we're absolutely knackered. Pritchett flies into a tackle, and he's lucky that wasn't a penalty. Prestige brings it away. Can he get the switch on early? No. And by the time we get forward, they've caught up with us. He passes it to Jarvis, who's been closed down by 2 men. And that's attack over. Carr's bringing it forward from the right to Shakes. Back to Ricketts, out to Carr on the right again. Long ball over the top, which Ugwu will get on the end of. Absolutely no one there. And Masonda's have to go from right centre half and run all the way across the pitch because Ward can't keep up. And then Ilasami just puts it into the top corner, runs into the box with no pressure on him, and we're now 5-0 down at home to Boreham Wood. What an absolute shocker this has been. I feel so sorry for Masonda. The ball in the right from Ricketts is headed away from Pritchett. Ugwu to the edge to Charlesworth, shoots, it's just over, and Lucas dive forward rather than towards the ball. But fair enough, it's still 5-0, and we're just going to see out the last 30 seconds with the goal kick now. Lucas time wasting, probably a good idea. Long ball up towards the left, which Watt loses out. Ward with an absolutely awful tackle. I don't know how that's been judged as inch perfect. Jarvis has the shot, which is blocked behind for a corner, and that'll just about be that. I'm so tempted now. I'm going to be sacked anyway. I might as well just throw all the old boys out the team. If they have a revolt, good luck to them. And we'll just play all the youngsters and see what happens. Put them in the under-23s to rot and teach them a lesson for being so unprofessional. 5-0 defeat. Ugwu absolutely terrorised us. Lucas scored what is essentially a deliberate own goal. And it's game over. And probably nearly curtains for me at this club. Post-match press conference we'll deal with off camera. And we'll be back in a minute for the league game. The relegation 6-pointer against Wealdstone. Okay, we're not back for the second of a doubleheader. We've suddenly been sacked. All I did was try to walk before I was pushed. So what happened, the Hemel Hempstead chairman came to me and said, you've got 5 games to save your job, you need to get this many points. I think it was 8 he said I had to get. I saw the job come up for Darlington in the National League North. They're a 1-star reputation club only, but they're such a big name in the grand scheme of things. They used to be a football league club when I was a kid, and they're in a relegation dogfight as well. So I thought that would be an interesting one, and unfortunately Hemel Hempstead sacked me straight away. I'm trying to pretend I'm not secretly delighted, but it will be quite difficult to get another job. There's also a job going in the Welsh Premier League. The first head coach series I did off camera in FM19. This is the club I ended up starting at, so there's a few names I recognise there. But as I'm out of work now, I have to apply for every job that's going. So we'll apply for that one. We're not going to worry about Peterborough because we haven't got hope of getting that. We've been sacked. It says I'll continue quest to find a new job. That was the only quest I had. That was the first time I'd done anything in relation to one. Unfortunately, the 3 managers who have been touted to take over are all unemployed, so it won't free up any jobs. But there's a few more in the sack race who are nearby, so hopefully in the north or south there'll be some jobs going, or maybe even in Scotland, Wales or one of the islands as we've mentioned. So apologies for a rather abrupt end to this episode, but that will now be it because I haven't got a second game to play. If you did enjoy this episode, please put a thumbs up on it. Let me know in the comments what you think of that one. Have you seen anything similar in your saves? Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager content from this head coach series and our other FM19 story part of the furniture, where the one spoiler I'll give you is we do still have a job. That one will be back tomorrow, and then we'll be back with the head coach in 2 days, where hopefully we might have been able to get another job. Thanks for watching.